Hello, um, welcome to the first episode of this project. I'm working on a app for churches. This is basically an app that helps. Uh, so the idea is actually, in the end, there'll probably be 3 apps if I ever finish this. But the first version is managing community groups for a church. And community groups are basically little pockets of members that gather together, usually during the week between church services. And so this app is kind of like, or the idea behind this app is helping the leadership in the church to organize those groups and to kind of see if groups have need new members, or so basically somebody can say, so they share out a link and a member of the church can submit themselves as wanting to join a group. And so they would basically see a list of groups and see who has not too many members and say, okay, well, we have like 3 groups. Okay, which should I put them in? So they could decide doing that. And so the app could kind of show, okay, this group has changed members too often, so maybe we shouldn't recommend that group for new users. And so they would be like hidden, and so it would show a different group that hasn't had as much change. So I mean, there's different aspects to that, but basically, I think on the surface is letting a administrator create groups, letting a public user pretty much come in and say, I want to be registered into a group. And then that registration, the administrator can take that and put them in a group. And then after they're in a group, they would get an emails pretty much introducing them to the group or introducing them to the organizer of that group. I think that's a starting point to kind of what I want to do with community groups. And I have a bigger vision than that, but just seeing some leaders organize community groups just kind of gave me this idea, just that just to make it easier. Yep. So this is something I'm going to try out, and I've already started some coding. So yeah, so this is kind of the group, now the repo here, and if we go in here, we have a super basic, pretty much a mock of a website. Sign-in doesn't really do anything; it just takes you to kind of like the mocked out page. This is all written in Ember, and yeah, so that's the beginning. So let's open that up here. Okay, let's close this page. And I was actually having an issue here. Something about, because I was thinking of using Firebase initially to do the backend, but I think I'm going to skip that for now and just use Ember.js Mirage, which is basically a mock backend that works really well for tests. So I think we'll go that direction. So we'll kind of skip this issue here for now. And let me do that by removing this dependency. I might have removed it already. Firebase, remove that. Just probably delete the yarn file. I'm not using the yarn anymore. So what I want to do today is actually set up Mirage, so I have it installed. It looks like 4.9 is latest, so let's update that. And let's do an npm install. So let's just visit Mirage here. Actually, I have it open already. So quick start is probably what we want to start right here. So they have a handler example. We can start something simple like this. So this app, I wanted to be multi-tenant eventually. I think it will. Since we're mocking everything, it's going to be easy enough to do that. So let's give that a try. Let's create a. I think we might already have the model here. We have a group model. Let's create a church model. Let's hide this here. Okay. Okay, so that gives us a new model. And I'm actually going to create a new branch here. Do that. We'll call it Mirage setup. And I think that's probably my goal for today. For today's recording, just to get Mirage set up and get it working. So the church model will probably be our starting dive into that. So let's see. We have models. Let me refresh this. Church. Looking good. I'm using Ember decorators and ES classes. So let me open that. Just because I'm not completely familiar with decorators and Ember data at this point. Data decorators. Okay, so that looks simple enough. Let's do that. Let's just add a. Hold on. I'm gonna import this. Okay, here we go. Import adder. Simple enough. Do that. So we have name. What's going on here? Date. I think we can do string. Pretty new to Ember TypeScript with all this stuff. Let me open up Ember TypeScript. Okay. So let's see. Ember data. Yeah, I don't know if they'll have much documentation on that, on using decorators. You might just have to ignore those errors for TypeScript errors for now. And then maybe go into Slack once it's not so late and see if anybody has any ideas. Let's simply do string. Okay, that looks good. So as a start, let's Mirage here, and we'll do create a new model. Picture model in Mirage as well. Let's see what this looks like. Church. Okay. So, I mean, that looks pretty similar to a regular Ember data model. So let's see, what do we have here? So we'll generate this file. And so this will make an in-memory database. Change the return data without rewriting the handler. This way we can share the same route definition, both development and testing, while still having control over their response data. Okay, so we want to update our route handler, which we never actually created when we never updated it. So this was the original one they have here. I think we'll keep the namespace, and then we will just copy that. Config. I'm just going to leave all these comments up here for reference. And then churches. Let's see if that works. All, and then this route will respond all the operators in Mirage's database at the time of request. If we want to change data, still need to change the data in the database. Okay, so we need to create the data now. We need some fake data, so we'll use factories here. Let's do the same thing here. Okay, we have a factory. Just refresh this. Factories, church. And this looks pretty simple. It's we can do that. Okay, oh, that's typo. Here we go. Let me just rename this actually. Clear. And okay, what does it say? So we'll create this kind of object. Insert into the database. There's a signature record ID. To use our new factory, we can call it server.create and server.create list method in development. Okay, so let's do this. And scenarios default. Let's uncomment this here. And 10 churches is probably more than enough for us. Okay, we need to uncomment this as well. There we go. Okay, so, and then we'll have to do some other thing in our tests once we have tests. That looks good. So this just calls it for our app. Okay. Yeah, so let's actually start the app. That's just a tool I have for npm start. It's a shortcut. I hope this works, since we did remove Firestore. We were having that issue earlier, so let's see if this builds. Okay, a good sign so far. Excellent. So let's open this up. Let me just have this like I have service worker from a previous app. So that doesn't. Looks like we have an adapter from. Let me. Let me put this to default adapter. Remember the imports adapter. I think we want the JSON API. I think that's what Mirage supports out of the box. So let's give that a try. The data, JSON API. There we go. And okay, so I mean, Ember data is still pretty normal, looks like. So let's just do this. And we'll okay. I mean, that looks good to me. Let's. One thing we can do is set the namespace. So we never did that because we did set the namespace in our. If that works. Let's see. So we have our application. Okay, that looks good. Let's open this up again. Oh, sorry. Ember tried post API groups. Okay, so we have some. Looks like we're creating something in our application route. I think this was just for testing. So let's get rid of this. We don't need. Save that. And there we go. Okay, excellent. So we sign in, we get an error. And that's fine. Let's see what the error is. Okay, so we don't have a groups defined in Mirage. Okay, so I mean that's reasonable since we don't define them. Let's just change that to churches and just see if we have some all churches, and then we have our template, and let's iterate. Let's see if we have. Okay. And sign in. There we go. There's our data. Excellent. Okay, so I think the next step, I think what we want to do now is mock out our sign in. So in sign in, we want to do something probably along the lines of setting a fake user on, or actually we'll set an ID. Let's set church ID, and then this will be, let's see. Kind of not really sure how to debug here. Response was to the data. Okay, so starts at 1. I wasn't sure if the ID started at 0. So we'll just set that to 1. I think that can be a safe. So let's get our session to include okay, so we have a final session here. A church ID, sorry, on the session service. And if we go back here, okay, so 1 is fine. And then in index, we will, let's inject port serve. I don't know if that serves right. Service. And I think we have to do this. So we have to import. Okay, that's fine. So we import that service, and then we do weird exclamation here. I'm not really sure about that. So that's working. Let's get the church ID. So record. See how this works. This returns one item, so let's just change this. Let's sign in here. Oh, we have an error. It's like we do not API charges, no route defined. Okay, so we need to go back into Mirage and define that route. So let me just close all these other ones and then collapse this and configure them. Okay, so churches, so we need select get. And return I'm not sure what the API is here. Let's find. Okay, so and all right, so we can just do this. I think that should work. There we go. There we go. Excellent. We probably want to put the name up here eventually in the top here, just because it's a main part of this. But I think for now, this is a great start. So let's see. I think we have accomplished our goal. Just set up Mirage, so we have just 2 routes and we're namespace. I think this is a pretty good solution so far. And we tested that they all return, and then we also tested that we can do it by single ID. We don't currently have any use for all of them in this UI, but it's fine to have that there. One thing I want to do is, I think we want to write a test for this really quick. So if we, let's see. So we'll do an integration test here. So if we have some, actually we want to do an acceptance test, right? So our test will say, after clicking sign in, I should see church 1. Okay, let's do that. So that means we're gonna, so, okay, so we visit, so the test should be actually, we visit there, the URL is changed to sign in because we're not logged in, and then we click on, I'm actually going to use semantic test helpers here. This is a really awesome add-on. And it's pretty much a drop-in replacement for, let's just install that. I'll have to stop the server here real quick. So, as we wait for this to install, basically the way that this add-on works is that it takes the content of what you want. Instead of looking things up by IDs or classes, you're basically looking things up by labels. And that's awesome for us because that's really what matters in our app, and that's what changes. And that's what we want to care if it changes. So if sign-in changes, our tests will break. But we don't really want to care if sign-in class changes. That should be pretty transparent. That should not break our tests. Yeah, so we're going to do our quick little sign-in. We're not going to fill anything in just because you don't have to at the moment. We can always expand those once we get to that part. Looks like we had an error here. Babel package has been deprecated in favor of Babel CLI. Okay, that's a warning. We cannot read property 0 of undefined. That was really weird. Let me give that a try again. Maybe this was a fluke. Do I already have it installed? I already have this installed. Yeah, it's really weird. Hold on, let me. Yeah, so I'll just grab this here and then go back to our acceptance test. And we can do click. I think it's all you for now. Click. So we click sign in, we wait. That should bring us to /route, okay. And then we can use this again and say, assert that it's a regular route. And then just start this again. And once we have that, we can say, let's see if we have this other add-on here. Unit DOM, okay, excellent. So we can say, here. So we don't actually have one. We can just do background blue contains church 0. I think that's for us for now. Has text. Interesting that the IDs are starting at 1, but the iterator in the factories starts at 0. So let's see if our tests pass. So okay, so our tests actually failed. This is because we have to call Mirage. So I think I have something in my README here about Mirage. So we're going to do this, and then we call set up Mirage. And then if we go back in here, we had a notice here if we go back to quick start. We're still in quick start here. So server. Interesting. Where does server come from? Okay, so yeah, where's server coming from? Is that a global? Okay, I mean, we can do that. So basically, we're setting it up on our hooks here that we do. And we can just create, in our case, we just need one. This test. And let's fix our Mirage config. What's going on here? Okay, so we have some other tests that are failing. Sidebar layout. Let's just fix those as well. And we can actually do assert DOM make that quick and then just, I think this is supposed to work in both modes. Okay, so I'm gonna actually do this. Let's start with simple. Okay, so our tests are passing. Let's actually, yeah, there it is. Let's just rerun that by itself. There we go. Excellent. Okay, I think we will end there. Thank you for joining me here. I hope these get better. I mean, I'm just practicing streaming, and yeah, thank you. Take care.